Good morning and welcome to the Forex Daily Update, brought to you by Pepperstone on Tuesday the 12th of June 2018. I'm Darren Sinden and you can follow me throughout the day on Twitter by using @ds_Pepperstone. Right, let's take a look at overnight changes and price moves to be aware of. Relatively quiet, I would say, yesterday. It felt like a pretty quiet session generally. Overnight, not much movement, although I am going to flag a couple of key points. First of all, a push back by the Aussie and New Zealand dollars against the US currency, but the dollar for its part gaining quite strongly against the yen, back to trade back at the 110.41 as dollar yen. That was a gain of 0.36% for the US currency. Dollar index for its part 93.72 shortly before we recorded the video, just below yesterday's session highs of around 93.80, but still up 0.15% overnight. Cryptocurrencies for their part having a calmer start to the day, though obviously their weekly moves, which effectively are Monday's moves, tell the story of yesterday's activity. What's on the calendar then? Events that may move the markets today. Well, first of all, of course, all eyes on Singapore and the historic meeting between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un of North Korea, and we'll come to more on that a bit later in the video. In terms of data, we've already had home loans data out of Australia and investment lending for homes in Australia. And then to come today from 8:30 GMT, we'll have average earnings and unemployment data out of the UK, and that's for April. The claimant count change for unemployment, though, comes in for May. At 9 o'clock GMT, we will have the influential ZEW Economic Sentiment and Current Situation Survey data for the month of June out of Germany. And then we jump forward to 12:30 for a raft of US inflation data, consumer price index data, including the ex-food and energy numbers, the broader numbers, and the core measures, all for May. And at 1800, a monthly budget statement out of the USA. Right then, breaking news and comment that's caught my eye overnight. And first of all, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un have met in Singapore and have spent more than 30 minutes in private conversation before wider talks commenced. And they seem to get on very well, Mr. Trump being very effusive, and the Korean leader saying it's taken a long time to get to this position, but he was happy to be there. Meanwhile, Australian business confidence has hit its lowest level since December 2016. The figures for May coming in at a reading of 6 versus a forecast of 9 and a prior read in April of 11. So further disappointing news for the Reserve Bank of Australia perhaps there. Moving back to the US and to trade and politics, US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has tried to play down the G7 tensions at the weekend. But French leader Emmanuel Macron has remained resolutely tough on trade, says the FT, and he is sticking to his guns over the EU stance on tariffs. Right then, food for thought, something to take away with you into the trading day and beyond, and why not think about this? Rising fuel prices are a potential source of further unrest in emerging markets, economists say. Demonstrations in Jordan and recent strikes in Brazil even, show dissatisfaction with the cost of fuel, and that ill feeling could spread to other countries such as Turkey, and that's the worry. And indeed, a chart here shows us the relative price of IPE crude oil, or Brent crude oil, in Turkish lira terms, and you can see the dramatic rise in the cost of a barrel of oil in Turkish lira terms since the middle of March, and obviously that will be closely reflected in fuel prices within Turkey. Emerging markets are something of a powder keg at the moment. What we wouldn't want to see particularly is another sharp spike in crude oil prices. That, or at least that's what emerging markets would like to see, because that could really drive social unrest there. Right, please take a moment to read the risk warning. Trading CFDs and foreign exchange on margin can be a risky business. If you're in any doubt about those risks or the suitability of leverage products for you, then please do contact your Pepperstone account representative. Thank you for your time.